Hello, dear students. Today, I'd like us to have a review for the midterm exam. Let me share my screen. Here is your midterm exam. It is scheduled for April 28th at 4:30 p.m. And you know the rules that for the midterm exam, all exams in our university must be written during the session. So the requirements are that you need to have two gadgets, one on which you will actually write the exam, and the second one will need to show that it is you who are writing the exam, so that the exam committee will see you, your face, your hands, writing, so that everyone will know that it is you who are writing the exam. This rule is not new. You have had this rule for all the years at your university, at the university, so I'm sure that you know this rule very well. In terms of time, so the exam, the time of the exam is April 28th, 4:30 p.m. If you absolutely cannot join the exam on that time, you can write the exam during the testing center. Please contact the dean's office to ask for the dates of the testing center. Usually there are two options of days and time for the testing center. And so if you cannot write on April 28th, contact the dean's office and they will inform you about the dates of the testing center. And the link is already here. So what you will need to do is open the link, which will let you then open the midterm. By the way, I'm sure that once again you know this, just would like to remind you that the Moodle page usually is closed sometime before the exam, so please save this link beforehand. Do not expect you to open Moodle at 4:30 and click on the link. Please save it beforehand, and then you will be allowed by our IT manager to log in and to get access to the midterm exam. Now I'd like us to have a review of questions, of possible questions for the exam. I have prepared some questions which are similar to the ones that you will encounter during the exam. So let's take a look at them. For example, question 1. Choose the correct words to fill in the gap. HRM is all planned and controlled activities of an organization to build and maintain the relations between employees and the organization. In order to meet, then you need to fill in the best, you need to use A or B to choose the best continuation of the sentence. Option A is both business objectives and employee expectations, and B is business objectives. And of course, option A is the correct one because, as we were saying during one of our class sessions, usually a company has its goals and employees in the company have their own goals. So it is necessary to make sure that both objectives of the company and objectives of employees are met. What are the objectives of the company? For example, market share, quality of products. What are employee objectives, expectations? They are, of course, good level of financial remuneration, adequate non-financial remuneration, good emotional climate in the company, good career growth, career progression, and so on and so on. So it is necessary to make sure that all of these objectives are met. Question number 2, possible question number 2. What are the consequences of the world megatrend demographic changes for HRM? And when we were discussing megatrends, we were saying that demographic change is one of the huge megatrends which affects how HR departments operate, how companies operate. It means what is demographic change megatrend? It means that people are retiring. There are more of older people than younger people, and it is necessary for companies to react accordingly. And the consequence, there are two possible consequences here. A, older people are retiring and will retire, and it is necessary to replace them. However, there are not enough of young people to replace their older workers. Demographic changes lead to talent shortage, not enough of qualified people available. So this is what option A is, and option B, the consequences of this megatrend are minimal. Simply, younger workers will take place of the older retired workers. And so what is the better choice here? Of course, the better choice is A, because we should not say the consequences are minimal. The consequences are not minimal. Consequences need to be addressed. Otherwise, this trend will really negatively affect companies. Okay, let me. Okay, here is. Possible question number 3. What is this list about? And here we have, some statements. Have employees develop an attitude of lifelong learning. Support diversity. The customers are global. Companies have to be global. Create attractive work conditions. Retain the best talent. Acquire the right talent. Give the right reward. And of course, what is this list about? These are the challenges for HRM because of the world megatrends, which affect the labor market. Possible question number 4. Do you agree with the statement? We are finding ourselves in a technological revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. In its scale, scope, and complexity, the transformation is unlike anything humankind has experienced before. We do not yet know just how it will unfold, but one thing is clear. The response to it must be integrated and comprehensive, involving all stakeholders of the global polity, from the public and private sectors to academia and civil society. Of course, this statement is about this technological revolution that the entire world is currently at. And this statement describes how how this revolution is developing, is changing the entire world, how quickly the entire world is changing, and at what depth the entire world is changing. So do you agree with the statement? Yes, this statement actually was issued by the World Economic Forum. So if you had such question in your exam, you will definitely write that, yes, I agree with the statement. Another question, possible question. Do you agree with the following statement? Human resource management is the process of employing people, training them, compensating them, developing policies relating to them, and developing strategies to retain them. And then, once again, you ask whether you agree with the following statement. The statement is a critical definition of human resource management, and of course, although there are many definitions of HRM, this one well describes what HRM is about. So yes, if you had such a question, you definitely would agree with the statement. Another possible question. You know the phrase, HRM was called the discovery of personnel administration by chief executives. Do you agree with the idea? When we were talking about the history of HRM, we were saying that before, originally, human resources department was simply even called personnel department, and it was like paper shuffling department. Lots of paperwork. That was what department was about. And then, as companies were developing, as markets were developing, it became clear that HR department can really become a very valuable and instrumental factor for the entire performance of the company. It became clear that HR deals with employees, and employees is a great resource for the company, which means that personnel departments should stop simply being paper shuffling bureaucratic departments, but they should become active in developing and participating strategies of the companies. So yes, we definitely agree with this idea. What are the major functions that every HR department performs, in-house or outsourced? Please choose all that applies. During our class sessions, pretty much during every class session, we remind ourselves that the four functions that every HR department performs, outsourced or in-house, are recruitment and selection, or talent acquisition, training and development, compensation and benefits, and personnel administration. And of course, the answer here is everything applies, because there is no HR department which does not deal with recruitment and selection. There is no HR department, which does not deal with personnel administration. It may be done 100%, it may be done less, it may be in-house, it may be outsourced, but HR departments deal with this. Yes, so the answer is definitely everything applies. Question 8, fill in the correct words in the following statement. How can we attract the right people to apply to the company? This is called, and then you need to choose recruitment or selection. And then how can we select the right people from the pool of candidates? Selecting the best candidates from the pool of candidates is called, and then you have two options, recruitment selection or selection recruitment. And of course, the correct answer is here, answer A, recruitment. How can we attract the right people to apply to the company? This is called recruitment. How can we select the right people from the pool of candidates? Selecting the best candidate from the pool of candidates is called selection. So yes, the correct answer is here, answer A. Fill in the correct words. Vacancies can occur either by an employee leaving an organization or through the creation of positions, thanks to the organizational development, expansion, or reorganization. So, and we have existing new or new existing. Let's read this statement once again. Vacancies can occur either because of an existing employee leaving the organization or through the creation of a new position, thanks to the organizational development, expansion, or reorganization. This is definitely the correct answer. So if you had this question in your exam, you will definitely choose A, existing, new. Please decide which column corresponds to which hiring mode. A, lower risk, short time to fill, lower cost, internal competition, faster integration, development opportunities. And B, new perspectives, ideas, lower training methods, costs, competitors inside, more options. So we need to decide where is internal and where is external. And of course, as we were talking during our class sessions when we were talking about recruitment and selection, we're talking about pluses and minuses of internal and external hiring. In this table, you have pluses of both internal and external hiring. So yes, A is definitely internal. Internal is when the company promotes from within. It means that if there is a vacancy, someone in the company can apply. So this is what option A is. This is internal promotion. And B is external, when absolutely new person to the company is applied. What does this figure refer to? And here we see contract worker, supplier, company, agreement fees, and we see the arrows from going indicating that the contract worker creates and works for the company, but the contract worker receives salary from some supplier. And contract worker signs contract agreement, job offer with the supplier company. So this should remind you that this is a model of outsourcement. Companies usually use outsourcing model when they need flexibility, when they want to hire, when there is a job which needs to be done, but the company cannot hire the person to the position actually inside the company to do the job. Then the company uses outsourcing method. What are the essentials of a job description? Please choose all that apply. And here we have options. Job title, job location, the supervisor to whom the job holder reports to, subordinates, if any, the overall purpose of the job, performed duties with some indication of the importance, education of the job holder, and then you need to choose what is in the job description. And of course, as we were talking in during our class sessions, all of this applies to a job description. Let's look at another possible question. What is an employee value proposition? And here we have two options. An argument by the company to persuade potential and current employees why the company is an attractive place of work. It is a unique selling proposition to show potential and current employees that the company offers many attractive employment factors. Each company has its own employee value proposition depending on the type of employees it wants to have as its employees. And option B, an explanation by a potential employee candidate why the company should hire him or her. And of course, the best and the correct answer is A. Why? Because employee value proposition is like advertisement of the company to potential candidates. Advertisement not of a company's products, but the company advertises itself as a great place to work, to attract better qualified candidates for vacancies. And the need for the employee value proposition has emerged because of the factor that now we have, that we actually discussed even today, megatrend that there are more and more of older people who are retiring and less of younger qualified employees to take their positions. It means that the company needs to be very active and proactive and creative in how it attracts employees to fill in vacancies. Question 14. A candidate selection is about prediction of future performance of the person who will be hired for a position in an organization. If to compare actual performance and predicted performance, there are several possibilities that can occur. The goal of a candidate selection is to maximize right decisions and to minimize wrong decisions. Please choose possibilities which potentially can take place. Choose everything that applies. So what can possibly take place? High actual, low predicted. Yes, it can take place. Low actual, low predicted. Yes, it can take place. High actual and high predicted. Yes, and surely these can actually take place. And low actual, high predicted. This is the wrong decision, but sometimes companies make this decision. So all of these options are possible. So sometimes HR department makes good choice, sometimes it does make good choice, but this is possible. So all of these options are possible. So the best answer here is A. Do you agree with the statement? The steps of the selection process are the following: application, pre-selection, telephone interview, personal interview, several of them, assessment center, other tests if applicable, and accepted job offer hiring. Yes, this is a standard process, and we talked about it. Another possible question: choose the correct statement among the two statements. The model of total remuneration includes material and non-material factors, or the model of total remuneration includes material factors. As we're discussing during one of our class sessions, total remuneration includes both material and non-material factors. We were talking that, for example, material factors, salary is a material factor. And non-material factors are, for example, the location of the company, which is convenient for employees. But all of these factors are in the model of total remuneration. So the answer is definitely A. Do you agree with the statement? The total financial compensation includes variable pay, invariable pay, and benefits. As we were discussing during our class session when we were talking about compensation and benefits, yes, the total financial compensation is invariable pay, meaning salary. Salary does not change. So when a new hire signs a job offer, which clearly states the salary cannot be made less unless some circumstances are taking place. So this is invariable pay. This an employee gets this amount of salary. Variable pay, for example, bonuses, depends on performance of an employee and the company. And benefits, for example, free meals. So these are all examples of financial compensation, and these together form the total financial compensation that employees receive. Do you agree with the statement? The goal of an employee training in the organization is increasing job-related knowledge, skills, and abilities of this employee. And of course, the answer is yes. So if you had this question in your exam, you would choose this answer. The major steps of organizing a training are the following: assessment of employees' training needs. Yes, it is necessary to know what knowledge the person lacks. Then planning the training, it's clear, carrying out the actual training, and evaluating the training. It is wrong to simply conduct the training without any evaluation. So these are all the major steps, and of course, everything applies. And example of a last sentence question: do you agree with the statement? There are two types of mentoring programs: organizational and personal. Personal mentoring takes place when a more experienced employee decides to help a new employee by providing some advice and guidance. And organizational mentoring takes place when young employees are simply assigned to have mentors with more experienced employees. So these are two types of mentoring programs that a company may have. So these are examples of questions that you may encounter during your midterm exam. So please review the materials, review this video, review the materials loaded in Moodle, and I wish you to write the exam very well. Please have a good and safe day, and goodbye.